When it comes to street photography, there's so much that's out of our control. You can't control the people, you can't control what happens when you're out and about on the street. What you can control is your composition. And what you can do is choose places very carefully around good lighting as well. I think if you have good lighting, good composition, and a good subject, you're onto a good photograph. So this is the concept of fishing. Like, not like fishing, but like fishing. Let me explain. If you find a good composition with good light, then we sit and we wait and we fish for a good subject to appear. You get a much higher rate of success if you do it this way rather than just keeping wandering around and hoping for the stars to align for all three things to just happen coincidentally.
So here are some examples of when you don't fish. When I'm just walking about, I could have perfect lighting, perfect composition, and just have absolutely no subject at that time. And then all the other combinations can happen as well. You might have a good subject at the wrong time of day. You might have good lighting and good subject, but be in that much of a rush that you don't have the composition down as well. So there's a lot of things that don't go to plan when you are shooting street photography, and having things within your control as much as possible is super important to get the best results.
The first spot is here. We're underneath a bridge, and across from me there is one pool of light and there's a path underneath it as well. So I'm really hoping that if I'm just patient enough, someone can walk past or maybe a bike can go past and we can get an interesting photograph out of this composition. So I'm shooting in shutter speed priority, and there's two ways I can attack this. I can shoot at 250th and above and freeze my subject in place, or I could have some handheld long exposures and get a little bit of motion blur when the bikes pass. So I'll do a couple of examples of both. And I wish I brought an ND filter, but it's on that camera. So we're just gonna have to make do. Aha, a customer. So a good 25th of a second, and f4.5. Now we need a bike. So I've just moved a little bit more square on, and I'm framing this center pillar, and then I've got a lovely bit of harsh light coming into the frame, so I'm going to try and divide the frame in half with the light and the dark shadows. And again, it's just waiting for the right subject. I'm at 25th of a second to add a little bit of motion blur, and let's see how it works. So after a little bit of patience, just a couple of minutes, I got a really nice selection of different subjects through the scene. Let's see if we can find some other fishing spots. Here in sunny Liverpool, here is another great fishing spot. We've got a row of really nice lampposts, and it's almost golden hour now, so it's looking quite good. And the shot can look messy or brilliant depending on who's walking by and when. So I'm just going to sort of stay in one place and hope that an interesting subject comes into view. Everything else is fine. We've got the composition, we've got the lighting. We just need a subject to make it shine. Of course, there's no people the minute I wanted to take a photograph. All right, this one coming. I think someone's coming. Now I think that bunch is a little bit too crowded. I can't figure out one specific subject here. So I'm just trying to get the people not crossing over the lampposts. I think it's a little bit less messy than it could be, and I think that's a good subject for this example. Fishing is not just in street photography. You can also use it in all other types of photography, like landscape photography, for instance. I was in Madeira a few weeks ago, and we were at the top of a mountain and we were watching all of these clouds roll in. And I took so many versions of essentially the same photograph to just find how I like the clouds the best. I mean, we're shooting digital, so you may as well take 10 shots and use one rather than take one shot and not like it. So I hope you found these fishing tips helpful, and I hope you use them the next time you take your camera out. It can really help you get better results quickly. Watch this video next where I teach you exactly how I make all those lovely fancy time lapses.